Hey Master Gardeners, I got a family activity for you to do with your grandkids or with children in your neighborhood, or we could even call this activity a quarantine craft maybe. Anyway, it's a fun family activity for starting some seeds to grow outside in your garden. I call it milk jug gardening. You'll find it called by different names on the internet. One thing you're going to need is a pair of scissors. You're going to need a good Sharpie marker. You're going to need some recycled old milk jugs that you've washed out at least 2 or 3 times. If they happen to have been old water jugs, that's nice and clean. Sometimes those milk cartons get a little sour and smell. Anyway, with your milk jug, you're going to have to cut it and you're going to make it into a little mini greenhouse or germination chamber. So it's going to be a little greenhouse that you're going to put outside. You never keep this indoors. This is strictly outside. So here's my milk jug. I usually steady it between my legs and I pop my scissors into it and I cut from the handle to the handle. And I cut way up into it and I'm going to use the handle like a hinge. Now, if you're scared and you don't know how to cut that, or if your children are not adept at using scissors, then don't let them do that part of it. That part you might have to do. You can always draw on the milk jug how to do this. So you can see the handle will be the hinge, so you don't cut through that. You just make a line that encircles the whole jug and goes around. And the purpose is to have the handle as a hinge that opens and closes. So after we've done that, I discard my lid because that will not be needed. Here's an easy tip for getting drainage holes. You fold each of these corners as if they were folders. Just like a folder closes, I crease them and then I take my scissors and just cut a little nick in it. Where I folded it, cut a little nick. Where I fold it, cut a little nick. Where I folded it, cut a little nick into it. You can even cut it sideways a little, but that gives me my 4 drainage holes. Then I press it out, make sure I get a good shape, push the corners out. I'm going to fill it with potting soil. We've talked about potting medium before. I prefer to not use potting soil. I prefer these soilless mediums that are called growing mediums. They're called soilless mixes. I always put about 3 inches inside of there. And once I've got that set for my seeds, I want to figure out what seed I'm going to plant. So today I know that I'm going to sow these. I'm going to sow a bunch of old seeds that I have. These are all 2016 perennials that I forgot to sow. And I'm just kind of curious if they're going to germinate. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because they may not germinate. I'm going to throw the whole pack of seeds in one of these. And then I'm going to tape the jug closed and leave it sit outside here in my garden. And I'll see if they grow. It's just kind of my test. There's other ways to test for germination, but you can do lettuce in these and actually eat the lettuce out of it. So there's endless ideas of what kind of seeds to sow. So I'm sowing some agastache, it's called hyssop in this today. So I'm going to write on here hyssop, and I always want to put the date on here because I want to remember when I planted. I also read my brochure and see when is it going to germinate. It says 14 to 21 days. So germination in about 21 days. So I usually put an indicator so I kind of have a feel. Of course it's going to be out in the cold, so it may not abide by these exact germination times, but I always have it on there as a kind of a go-to to see. So I write the name of it. I always do a second thing by writing it on a label inside. When I've done this with kids programs before, sometimes the writing on the outside of the jug gets so much sun that it fades and I can no longer read which students is which, and that's a problem. So you want to put a double precaution by making a label inside. Always put the date on it, put the name on it. I stick it inside and then I'm ready to sow my seeds. I sow the whole pack inside there. How do you know how deep to plant a seed? General rule is 3 times the diameter of the seed. You sprinkle them all across the top. These are really tiny little seeds. Agastache. It's a weird, that's the Latin name. Oh, it's a tiny seed, so I know I only need a little covering. And then I typically will water it right now. Now, if I'm in a group of people or I'm at a senior center doing it with seniors, I can't water it because it'll run all over their table. So I'll just duct tape it closed right now. I didn't tell you, but that is another supply you're going to need is duct tape. I do not tape the jug totally closed. I'm just closing it a little bit because I don't mind the air ventilation. I like it. So, got my drain holes, got a little air ventilation. I'm sitting it outside. I don't care if it rains in there. I don't care if it snows in there. I don't care. I just want the sun to shine on it. When it gets warm enough, the seeds will determine when they want to germinate. And I watch them. When they germinate, I rip my tape off, I open my lid, and I leave it sitting open. So that's the gist of it. Here's one we did earlier. This is Nicotiana. I love Nicotiana. These are also old seeds. I think I wrote the year on them. I think they're 2019 seeds, but I'm going to see if they'll germinate. I still have to water them yet, but you're just going to put one simple piece of tape on it, close it, and leave it sit on your porch. It's great, fun family activity. Buy a pack of seeds and try it. You got nothing to lose.